stock which is gaining today in trade but has fallen all the way from 270, 280 levels, fell to almost 210. Now it may have rebound, but it's in the midst of a massive controversy going on. I'm talking about Religare Enterprises. We got you the the largest shareholder, the Berman family, yesterday as an exclusive chat, raising a lot of issues at Religare, which actually could be impacting shareholder value there. Ingovern has actually come out with a note specifically highlighting some issues which could be very detrimental for the shareholder value out there and the current management capital allocation policies as well. Shriram from Ingovern is joining us now, who released that note today. Shriram, if you could talk to us about some of the key things which are quite, which you have culled out from the public data, actually from the annual reports, which are actually not widely known but may be quite negative for the shareholder interest.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show. Good afternoon. Firstly, the reason why the management is opposing a large shareholder and that is the Berman's move of enhancing and increasing their shares. So that is what set us down as to what is the reason why the board is opposing it. And when we looked at the annual report, so we figured out that the executive chairperson, who was actually an independent director, Rashmi Saluja, and then in 2021 became an executive chairperson, she has been issued options worth rupees 480 crores, which will obviously vest over the next 2-3 years. But the disclosures have been not properly made to the Religare shareholders. Also, Religare has a material subsidiary called Care Health Insurance, which is a 67% owned by Religare. And there also options worth 250 crores have been issued to Dr. Saluja, who is not even a executive member of the Care Health Insurance. She is only a non-executive chairperson of Care Health Insurance. So to that extent, Hilda had opposed this move of issuing ESOPs to Dr. Saluja, but yet the company went ahead, which is Care Healthcare, went ahead and issued options to Saluja as a employee of the holding company, which is employee of Religare. But that itself is not a disclosure made to shareholders of Religare, because a material subsidiary is issuing so much options to the chairperson. That should be coming in the compensation disclosures made by Religare itself. The shareholders of Religare have to approve specific compensation. They have taken an omnibus approval saying that any options issued by subsidiary companies will also be considered, etc. But what has happened is the shareholders have not approved the specific compensation element of this. The third part, why IRDA has this regulation that more than 10 lakhs cannot be paid to non-executive directors, is the impact on policy holders of care. Not only are shareholders important, the policy holders are also important, because they are also funding their premiums, etc. So to that extent, issuing 250 crores of options to a non-executive director on care is sort of against IRDA's even guidelines and regulations. And IRDA had specifically sent a letter to care saying that that should not be issued. And so to that extent, that was a violation by the company, and the company needs to take action on that front.
Sriram, so what's the road ahead? What should be the road ahead for both the parties to come and sit together, amicably solve it? Because after all, it's the shareholders' interests which need to be guarded, right?
Yes, so it is not clear as to what is the reason why the board of Religare is objecting to a large shareholder coming in, and also when the mandatory open offer triggers at 25%, the SAST SEBI regulations are actually very procedural in nature. In that sense, the open offer is made. Minority other shareholders, if they want to tender, they can tender, or they don't need to tender, etc. But the reasons are not very clear. The reasons given by the current board and the independent directors have written to SEBI saying that the Berman's the source of funds is not clear, etc., etc. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, there is a large shareholder coming, and a mandatory open offer has been triggered at the 25% threshold, and that is a very procedural SEBI regulation. So at the end of the day, the board has to state its reasons very clearly. The minority shareholders are affected, and they are waiting and watching. SEBI needs to show some directions to both the board as well as the Bermans, and on what is the next steps. I think the open offer trigger would be passed, and I think that's a very procedural matter.
Right. All right, Sriram. Thank you very much for your time joining us on the show today. With that, that's a wrap on the show. Thanks very much for watching.